In an empire built on power, where one man's word is law, a young captive will face the ultimate test of faith. They'll demand he bow. They'll command he break his sacred vows. But for him, defiance is not a choice, it is destiny. Thrown into a den of hungry lions, his faith will be pitted against the jaws of death. This is the story of a man who dared to stand alone, a man named Daniel. Our story begins in Jerusalem, a city under siege. The mighty Babylonian Empire, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, conquered the land and took the best and brightest of its young men back to Babylon. Among them were Daniel and his 3 friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Though they were captives in a foreign land, they were chosen for their intelligence and strength to serve in the king's court. From the very beginning, Daniel was determined to honor his God. When the king offered them rich food and wine from his own table, Daniel politely refused. He knew this food had been offered to Babylonian idols, and partaking would violate his beliefs. Instead, he and his friends requested a simple diet of vegetables and water. The chief official was worried they would become weak, but Daniel proposed a test. Let them eat their simple food for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier and stronger than all the other young men. God had blessed their faithfulness. Years passed, and Daniel's wisdom grew. One night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a terrifying dream that left him deeply troubled. He summoned all his wise men, magicians, and astrologers, demanding they not only interpret the dream, but first tell him what the dream was. An impossible task. When no one could, the furious king ordered all the wise men of Babylon to be executed, including Daniel and his friends. When the soldiers came for him, Daniel remained calm. He asked for one night, promising the king he would reveal the dream and its meaning. That night, Daniel and his friends prayed fervently to God for mercy and wisdom, and God answered. In a vision, the entire dream and its interpretation were revealed to Daniel. The next day, Daniel stood before the most powerful man in the world.
No wise man on earth can reveal this mystery, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets.
He described the king's dream, a colossal statue with a head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of mixed iron and clay. Then a stone, not cut by human hands, struck the statue's feet, shattering it to pieces, and the stone grew into a mountain that filled the whole earth. Daniel then explained the meaning. The different metals represented a succession of powerful kingdoms, starting with Nebuchadnezzar's golden Babylonian Empire. But one day a final, eternal kingdom, established by God himself, would come and destroy all the others. It would be a kingdom that would never be destroyed. Overwhelmed, King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face and declared, "Truly, your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings." He promoted Daniel to a high position, making him ruler over the entire province of Babylon. But Daniel's greatest test was yet to come. Years later, under a new king, Darius, Daniel's integrity and wisdom earned him favor, and the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. The other officials grew intensely jealous. They spied on Daniel, looking for any fault, but found none. They realized the only way to trap him was to use his unwavering faith against him. So they devised a wicked plan. They tricked King Darius into signing an irreversible decree. For the next 30 days, anyone who prayed to any god or man other than the king would be thrown into the lion's den. King Darius, not realizing their true motive, signed the law. Daniel knew about the new law, but it didn't change a thing. 3 times a day, just as he had always done, he went to his room, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, knelt down, and prayed to his God. His enemies were watching. They rushed to the king, accusing Daniel of breaking the royal decree. The king was devastated. He had been tricked, and his heart ached for Daniel, a man he respected. He spent the entire day trying to find a way to save him, but the law of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. At sunset, with a heavy heart, the king gave the order. As Daniel was led to the den of lions, the king said to him, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." A large stone was rolled over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own ring. That night, the king couldn't sleep. He refused food and entertainment. At the first light of dawn, he hurried to the lion's den. With a voice full of anguish, he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" And then a voice called back from the darkness,
O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight.
The king was overjoyed. He commanded that Daniel be lifted out of the den, and not a single scratch was found on him. The king then ordered that the men who had falsely accused Daniel be thrown into the den, and the lions immediately overpowered them. Following this incredible event, King Darius sent a decree to every nation, declaring that all people must fear and revere the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and he endures forever. Daniel's story is a powerful reminder that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but faith in the face of it. It shows us that integrity and faithfulness, even when they seem to lead to disaster, are honored by God. In a world that often demands we compromise, Daniel's life challenges us to stand firm for what we believe in. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the powerful stories that have shaped our world. See you next time.